What up, peeps? Tony Baker here, back with another movie review. This time I'm reviewing Kraven the Hunter. Sony Pictures is just gonna keep making these Spider-Man related movies with no Spider-Man. They just like, nah, man, we gonna build the world around Spider-Man and not have him directly be in it though. Stop. Why are you doing it? What, Madam Web? Now Craven? Venom I get. Venom is a popular villain. Like Venom, he deserved the movie. But I didn't like any of them, but it made sense for a Venom movie to exist because Venom is one of Spider-Man's, if not one of the most popular Spider-Man villains of all time. So I get it. And he looks like Spider-Man kind of. But I just didn't like the execution. Then they did Morbius, and then they did Madam Web, and it's like, nobody's really checking for these cats. Craven now? Craven? That's the villain? Like, yeah, man, Craven need that movie. Do he? Did he really need the movie? That's the Spider-Man villain. We was like, man, I don't know what y'all talking about. I need that Craven movie. You can't just dive in without establishing something with Spider-Man first. Like Vulture, I would be interested in the Vulture movie because when the Vulture was in Spider-Man Homecoming, Michael Keaton played him fantastically, and so now I'm like, yeah, now I'm intrigued. But nah, they're like, nah, man, we bringing in new cats. Get that Morbius in there. Who? Morbius. Who? Morbius. Let's get Madam Web going. Who is that? I mean, she blind and she could like see stuff. Who? Madam Web. Is she Spider-Man's aunt? No, man, that's Aunt May. Oh, all right. She get in the movie? Yeah. Okay. Now we got Craven, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's getting ripped to shreds on Rotten Tomatoes. So I already know y'all already like, man, it's trash. You probably calling it trash before you even saw it. Craven is pretty much about a guy, of Russian lineage, who, he's brought up, his father is like a gangster hunter type guy, played by Russell Crowe. And, they came up in this, hunting for sport, which I don't respect. And that was another reason why I don't want to see Craven, man. He be hunting animals for sport. He be wearing them. I'm like, nah, man, I'm out. I don't respect hunting for sport. Hunting for survival, sure. That's how you survive. That's what you gonna eat every piece of the animal and use everything. I respect it. But when you just killing these magnificent animals just to take a picture, just to put the heads on the wall, I got zero respect. Craven comes up in that. When he's a teen, he gets mauled by a lion, first of all. How rare is that, by the way? But you get mauled up by a full-fledged male lion? I would be honored. Like if I had to go out, if I had to die suddenly, that's a tremendous. What happened to Tony, man? A lion killed. A lion, yeah. He got mauled by a lion. Where? In Burbank, California. What was a full male lion doing in Burbank? I don't know. Tony got out of his car, mauled him up. That would be an epic death. It'd be on the news. The lion just came out of nowhere and disappeared. They established other characters within this movie, like a character named Calypso, who is a character in the comics as well. And, her family comes from this family of like witchcraft and like, spells and potions and stuff like that. So they established this character. No connection, no connective tissue. They just like, yeah, here's Calypso. And then he's Craven. And when they introduce Craven, he's doing like amazing things. Like he's crawling, his agility is crazy. He's super strong. So it's like, oh, how he getting all these abilities? So they go into the flashback of like what happened to him when he was a teen. He got mauled up. The girl Calypso just happened to find him mauled up, in the lion's mouth, and just like, oh, snap. Because she had a tarot card and it said the lion in the person. So it just led her off the safari path. She just got out the safari truck, and her parents was like, where'd she go? That dang daughter of ours. Like, what the hell? Like, the way they reacted to their daughter just jumping out of the safari vehicle and just like, Calypso! Are you serious? How she disappeared that quick? This is the Serengeti. This is the savannah. It's pretty flat. You could see far out. Anyway, that's neat. So she finds this boy mauled up by the lion. The lion's like, yeah, I ain't want him no way. He had some bullet wounds he had already sustained because the father shot the lion, but the lion survived. And then he just left him there. And so she was doing a little praying over him and hit him with the ointment stuff. And then, the blood from the lion got in the blood of Craven. And then he woke up with these abilities of a lion. So now he's like strong, fast, agile. So now he has these abilities. And his eyes would glow. He's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. So he's souped up. But he didn't even know the girl was there because she just did that and went back off with her parents. Called the helicopter, medvac or whatever. And so he survived. And he's like, what happened? And you get this tarot card and somebody left for you. That's all he had to go on. Fast forward, he has a little brother that's super intimidated by the father. He's the softer of the two brothers. You know what I'm saying? And so he realized that he couldn't live under his father anymore. So I'm going off on my own. I'm going off to Russia where mom is from. I'm just like, I'm sick of this dude. And his little brother's like, don't leave me behind, man. I'm frail. And then he was like, nah, I'm out, man, but I'm frail. Don't leave me. I got to go, but don't leave me, man. I'm frail. All right, man, look out. And so he kind of leaves his brother behind to live with the father. Fast forward, Craven is now a hunter of seedy individuals. He be hunting these criminals and these lowlifes down, and he be killing them. He be like, yeah, I'm going to just kill y'all. I'm going to be a hunter like my father was, but, I'm going to just take out cats that I really like my father. And so he's been doing that, like living in the wild because he's now animalistic now, a little bit, just, all jacked up. You know what I'm saying? He was in the gym. So he's just trying to navigate that, trying to, take people out. His father is at odds with another criminal cat. I forget his name, but he's basically the Rhino. And the Rhino is another, villain in the Spider-Man universe, played by Alessandro Nivoli, who I always liked that name, Alessandro. He played the little brother on Face Off. Anyway, so it's like, also now we got the Rhino in here. Without giving everything away, everything comes to a head. He was like, all right, man, listen. They got my little brother hostage. They trying to get money from my dad. My dad won't pay. So it's like, all right, bet that. So they teaming up. He finds the girl, Calypso, that saved him. So they connect. She helps because she's a lawyer and she had dealings with, that criminal organization. So she helps him find him so they can find his little brother. And then essentially he's going back to save his brother. He already feels guilty because he left him with his dad. So there's that whole element there. And then the Rhino is just like, he has the ability to turn on and off his skin because he went through the experiment process. And the Rhino has super hard skin and super strength. So when they fight, it's like, oh, he met his match and then some. So essentially, that's what the movie is basically about. The little brother is still like, you my big brother, man, I love you. But at the same time, you left me with Pops, and Pops don't respect me because I'm soft. And he's trying to gain footing in that regard. Everything comes to a head. They got the big fight at the end. My whole thing with this is nothing meant a lot. Aaron Johnson was cool as Craven, but it wasn't a ton of personality on it. And I feel like if you're going to establish a character that nobody wanted, you got to personality the shit out of this. You know what I'm saying? Like when you deal with a character that's not like ultra popular like a Spider-Man or a Batman or a Superman, so now you digging into C and D tier. Like even when Iron Man was made, people were like, Iron Man? We knew of Iron Man, but he wasn't popular like the X-Men or like Spider-Man and all of those. So it was just like, Iron Man, huh? Robert Downey Jr. personality the shit out of that. So it was just like, yes, Iron Man, of course. So you got to nail it. Even with Wesley Snipes' Blade, he personality the shit out of that role. Blade was like a D character, like Blade. But then when we saw it, we were like, of course. Blade. Yes. So you got to nail, and I feel like he didn't really personality the shit out of it. He wasn't terrible or anything, but it was just like, he was cool. He was cool. You know what I'm saying? All right. He was cool. But it was just like, I wasn't that compelled. Like, even with the family dynamic, I was just like, all right. And then they just incorporated some other elements, and they turned the little brother into another character. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just like, all right. Okay. But it's not terrible. Like, I wasn't watching the movie like, man, this is terrible. It was just like, they didn't nail the executions. The character development was still kind of blah. And like, why was the dad like he was? And I get the kid dynamic, but it was still just like, and then the character shifts didn't always really make sense to me. And not only that, Craven is a super villain. He's a villain. Stop making us like these cats. Stop trying to make them anti-heroes or whatever. Craven is a straight up Spider-Man villain. He's not an anti-hero. Like Venom is an anti-hero, Deadpool is an anti-hero, but Craven is a straight up villain. And in this movie, I was like, yo, he's a good guy. I mean, yeah, he was killing people, but I was still just like, yeah, like I don't see him being a super villain. Even when the movie went off, I still don't see it. So I'm like, what are y'all doing? What are you setting this up for, man? Craven is a villain. Nah, man, but he's kind of like, stop. Everybody don't have to be kind of, I kind of get where he's coming from. We don't have to do that all the time. Some people can just be villains. You know what I mean? Like, everybody can't be Magneto. And so I was just like, all right, or whatever. But some of the action scenes were cool. There was this one villain in there called the Foreigner. And he had this, like, ocular thing where he could just kind of throw you off your square, and he's just like, oh, now he's behind you. Oh shit, what's going on here? But it was like, who the hell is this? So, but it wasn't terrible. Like, you know, I was still it takes me back once again to the old comic book movie joints where it was just like light on story, light on performances, and just like it was action, and you're gonna be here because you like comic books. It was back to that again. So, but it wasn't as terrible. It wasn't as bad as Madam Web, and I liked it better than Morbius, but it was still an L. Actually, I liked it better than the Venom movies, to be honest with you. Even though I feel like Tom Hardy did have personality on Eddie Brock, it was just that whole Eddie Venom dynamic. I just hated it. But forget all that. Y'all want to know a smooth jazz review of Kraven the Hunter? Well, here it is. Oh, yeah. I'm good. I feel like Craven would turn around like that, too. And they had a scene in the movie like that where somebody was sitting in the chair and it was like, of course. But there was no squeak in there. Anyway, I'm giving Kraven the Hunter 2.5 saxophones out of 5. It wasn't terrible, but it was just... I feel like you're going to go in wanting this movie to be the worst thing you've ever seen based on critic reviews, but it's really not the worst thing you've ever seen. And the box office is dreadful. Like, it only made like $11 million this weekend. Ugh. Let this be a lesson, Sony. Stop, man. Bring Spider-Man back. Establish the villains within the Spider-Man movie and then go from there. Give us a Vulture movie, man. You should have been gave us that. Michael Keaton? Now we on to something. But nah, man. Y'all want to just Craven. All right, y'all. That's my review of Kraven the Hunter. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comment section below. And do you agree that Sony needs to just shut down shop, give everything to the MCU, and let them handle it the right way? Or do y'all like, we could still... No, man, no. Give us the right characters at the right time and then go from there. Because you're losing money, Sony. You're losing money and credibility. And you're Sony. What are you doing? Get Spider-Man back on the phone. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comment section below. Also, I want you to rank these Sony movies, from the Venom to the Morbius to the Madam Web to the Kraven the Hunter. Rank them in order how you like them. I don't like the Venom movies. They piss me off more than Morbius and Madam Web, to be honest with you. But Madam Web is at the bottom. Anyway, I want to know your thoughts and your rankings in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, we out here.